The biker jacket is a beautiful piece of clothing with a lot of history to it. It is simultaneously a symbol for rebellion and rock stars, popular with the older generations, but it is also worn by rappers, emulated by fashion houses, and is popular with today's youth within the emerging trend of indie sleaze. But how did a piece of protective motorcycle equipment evolve to become a stylistic statement piece that is even manufactured from weird materials like thin, flimsy polyester? This video is about the interesting evolution and the change in perception and design of the biker jacket. The first double-rider biker jacket came from the brand Schott, the Perfecto. It was invented because motorcycles became popular, and with the rise of motorcycles, people realized they need protective gear. That was the initial intention for the design. The jacket was made from heavy leather in order to protect the wearer when falling from a bike. Also, the rest of the design of the jacket was specifically made for being the perfect jacket when riding a bike. That's why the jacket is so heavily cropped, so it's more comfortable when sitting on your bike all day. You also have longer arms than on usual jackets, so everything is covered when you're stretching your arms out. Furthermore, you also have zipper cuffs to accommodate your gloves. And probably the most flashy and prominent feature of the jacket is the Lancer front, which means that you have a double-breasted construction that prevents wind from entering the jacket, which is also probably the most noticeable feature of the jacket and helps people identifying it. So you can see the jacket is designed specifically for the purpose of riding a motorcycle. But how did a utilitarian, protective piece of equipment became a stylistic statement piece? I mean, you wouldn't wear the work clothes of a tradesman just for style, wouldn't you? So bikers always had a rebellious image, and this image got ingrained within the clothes. So when actors playing bikers started to wear the jacket in order to depict a character that is rebellious, also the general public was confronted with this design being connotated with certain ideas. And in the next step, rockstars started to wear the jacket. And it makes sense that either they themselves liked the idea, or they were styled by the management in order to represent a rebellious image. And from there we see how fans get presented the idea that the statement piece is connotated with a flashy, rockstar, rebellious personality. And in an attempt to recreate this persona and claim the ideas of a rebel, a rockstar, someone flashy, a daredevil, not necessarily a biker, people started to wear the jacket. And now we already see that people are wearing the jacket for a stylistic purpose, not necessarily for a functional one. We already see that the jacket is being detached from the idea of a piece of protective equipment, although it still is one. And the jacket is in its core the same, it still has the same features and functionalities. It is just worn for different reasons. Now after this point it gets kind of absurd. Different brands and designers started to change up the materials, either for the stylistic expression or the experimentation of the designer. I mean, using weird materials is nothing new, or also for just reducing costs. Ultimately, the reasons are not that important. In the end, all of these fulfill the stylistic need of the consumer to have a jacket that has a Lancer front and that looks like a biker jacket. So the consumer buys it for the stylistic looks, which is nothing new. What is new is that the jacket can't even provide what it once should have provided. And I'm guilty of this too. I got this polyester biker jacket. And I had an interesting realization. I can wear this jacket as a jacket because it's neither warm enough nor water resistant enough. But I love wearing it for the style, the look and the drape it provides. So I started wearing it over a hoodie that can keep me warm or underneath a jacket that can keep me dry. So by changing the material, the designer removed all the utilitarian functionality from the garment. But by changing the properties, you also changed the purpose and the usability of the garment itself. So it still has all of the design elements that once provided a specific function, like the zipper cuffs or the Lancer front. It does look the part, but it does not do the job. And I realized the jacket is not outerwear for me anymore. It is an intermediate layering piece, which I'm super cool with. This is the reason I actually got the jacket for, and not for riding bikes. But since it's not leather anymore, the jacket doesn't serve the initial design purpose. No real biker would wear this jacket. So how did we end up here, where the idea and the purpose of the jacket is completely stripped? So what happened here did in several steps. First, we have biker jackets being made out of leather, serving a specific purpose. Then actors, musicians and rockstars start to wear it. And the jacket is still the same. It has still the same core features and is still made up out of leather. But this is not anymore the core reason that people wear it. They want the look and the symbolism. So the leather jacket is still the same item, but the reasons for wearing it are weighted differently. And this is what the normal consumer is looking up to and trying to emulate. They want the style and the symbolism, not anymore the function. Then designers and fashion houses change the material or the cut of the jacket. And still consumers like myself want to buy it. Now we see that the item was robbed of its initial function, but that's okay, we don't care because we only want the looks. And I can understand if the first group is pissed on the second or the last group, because for them the item had a different significance and a different meaning. But the last group doesn't care at all because they were introduced to an idea of a jacket that has a completely different appeal. But how did we end up here, where a piece of protective equipment has a completely different appeal? So when the second group bought into the biker jacket, they aspired to belong to the first group, or had an appeal to a part of the things that the jacket is representing. And by wearing the jacket, they still uphold some of the values and the symbolism of the jacket, although they weighted it differently, but also they add their own. Which is the connotation with rockstars, a flashy lifestyle and an out there design. Especially in times when motorcycle jackets look like this, wearing something like this stands out. So when the next group joins the party, they take some of the features, looks and ideas and change them a little bit more than the group before them. In this way, the idea, the perception and ultimately the design of the biker jacket is constantly changing. It is being changed by everyone who is interacting with the design, either by designers who literally changed the design of the jacket, but also from consumers who wear the jacket in new contexts. So every group, from the bikers to designers to NYC hipster kids, all of them participated in this. They changed the symbolism and the affiliation, the perception and ultimately the design of the jacket. One could think of design being democratized since everyone is participating in changing it. Could you maybe even call the design being open source? And the more popular a design is, the more people are exposed to it and the chance for participation in changing is rising. So now today in 2025, if I see someone wearing a biker jacket, I don't think of them being a biker. I think that's a hipster who likes the re-emerging style of the early 2010s indie sleaze. And this change in perception and symbolism is nothing unique that we only see in biker jackets. We also see this happening with workwear being worn by streetwear fashionistas. We see this with golfwear being worn by people who never hike. So what about the angry bikers? Can we do anything about it? Is there a possibility to restrict the access to a design? I don't think so. People tried by either creating artificial shortage or by raising the prices, but consumers will always find a way around it. So maybe you just can't avoid it, and design in itself is a very democratized thing. So the way that you're experiencing or reading a piece of clothing or design is just a snapshot in time of the evolution of said piece. And the most interesting thing, at the same time, you're also changing it yourself. I forgot to do an end screen. Follow another video somewhere around here. See you next time.